Hello, hello. This is Jen. I hope everybody's good. I'm here with an energy update for March. Welcome if you're new. Welcome back if you're not new. Thank you for being here. So let's get into it. March. What's going on for March? After a huge month of February where we've been confronted with a lot of our personal truth, especially for the divine masculine, where we've been confronted with needing to speak our truth and standing in our truth. So in February, a lot of people were guided to follow their internal guidance and maybe quit some situations where they were not in alignment with their truth. And that covers all areas of our lives, personal, business, romantic, friendship, everything. And in March, what I'm seeing is a turnaround when it comes to that. A lot had to be processed. A lot had to be purified. That's mainly what the month of February was about, is purging, releasing, and purifying our energy. And I find that I see that in myself. I see that in people, depending who I talk to. And I find that the further along you are on your spiritual ascension path, the more you are faced with being in your truth all the time. Like, there's no way that you can go back to just pretending that you don't have that guidance inside, that you don't have that internal voice speaking or whispering to you when you're going off track or off path. And I also find that the further along people are on their spiritual path, the faster those purging phases or things, the faster they come, the faster they go. But this time around, it wasn't purely purging or releasing like we once knew a few years ago or a few months ago. It was more like purification, like get everything out that is out of alignment with your highest truth, which is good, but can also be painful. It can definitely be painful. It's absolutely demanding on the body to go through phases like that. We tend to get more tired. We get to, for some people, get like weird dreams, either very vivid dreams or dreams that make no sense at all, and it's hard to understand what's going on, what's the message about. There was also in February, especially in the first part of the month, a lot of projection from the divine masculine onto the feminine, but also like just people in general, people taking their own story, projecting it on other people, and trying to provide guidance, unsolicited guidance, based upon their own perception, if that makes sense. Basically, wrongful guidance. First of all, providing guidance when it wasn't asked for is not a cool thing to do. Second of all, trying to take over someone's story based on our own perception is also not cool. Of course, most people do that, but in February, it was like more than it has ever been before, I think. Just people taking, of course, it's unconscious on their part. They don't do that to hurt anybody. They do it because they want to help, but also as a healing mechanism. They're trying to heal themselves by talking and repeating, because there's a lot of repeating in those phases. Repeating the same stories all over and putting their perception onto your own story. Therefore, that creates all kinds of weird situation where You may feel like you're not being heard. You may feel like you're not being seen, and that can be painful. So March will help us release those energies, those projection and reflection, and also deflection, because there was a lot of deflection going on the masculine part, where they are truly tested with what they want in life, with their own spiritual truth, with their own spiritual authenticity, with, is your mouth following, are your feet following your mouth? Sorry, that came out all wrong, but do you walk the talk or not? Like, do you? And if you don't, what the heck are you doing? Talking all that talk and not walking all that walk. So there's a lot of that still going on, because it's only March 1st, but it's going to change as we go along in the month. We have a new moon somewhere around the 14th. I think 15, 16, 17, I can't remember. And this new moon will help with a new start, a new perspective. And remember that a new start, a new perspective could also mean the end of something. So what I'm seeing in the collective energy, a lot of people will, close the chapter on a lot of things with this new moon, to start new things. As for others, if your life has been more like calm lately, perhaps this is just a new start for you. Like, you're going to attract new things, and you're going to start working on these things, or, attract new people. There were a lot of big tower moments in February as well. A lot, like everything crumbling down with a lot of velocity for a lot of people. If you felt that and you still don't have your answers, you still don't understand why that happened to you, I'm strongly encouraging you to do some spiritual work to connect with your spiritual guides, or the guides or the higher self, your higher self, or the guides and higher self of the people involved, and you will get a lot of answers. But for a lot of people, the answer to those tower moments is things needed to crumble down to make space for what's coming, for what the divine has in store for people. And when a person is being very stubborn, very much into their mind, their ego, their own vision and perception, and being closed off about what others have to say, usually that's where the tower moments happen. Usually that's where the divine takes things away to make them understand that they are going in the wrong direction, to help them become conscious of what they're doing, what they need to release, what they need to transform, transmute, and change. It's always difficult, of course. Tower moments are never comfortable, never. No matter how far you are on your journey, they're never comfortable, because they often come as a surprise. And let me tell you this, the bigger the surprise, the bigger the reward once you're done clearing the mess from the tower moment, once you've realigned on your divine path. And at this point in March, we are asked to be on that line, that divine path. Like, if you choose to walk away, fine, you have your free will. But if you choose to walk away, you best be prepared to see your abundance crumbling down. Spiritual abundance, material abundance, financial abundance, all kinds of abundance. That's the whole purpose of this spiritual ascension, is to open up our perceptions to we already have everything that we need. And if we don't, it's a matter of manifesting it here in the 3D plane, by moving energy, by connecting with our energy and with other people's energy. We are in the new earth. We are, and we are still building this new earth. March is the perfect time to release anything related to the old earth so that the new earth can be built. And trust me, this energy is so much better and sweeter. We will feel a glimpse of that in March. A lot of people will. A lot of people are already in the new earth, but still dealing with some stuff from old earth. But in March, the energy overall is sweet, loving, caring, about new beginnings, new relationships, new encounters, new business adventures, healing of the heart, which the Divine Masculine is working a lot on, healing of the heart. Healing of the heart, healing of the ego, because a lot of them had their ego bruised a little bit over the past few months, or something from the past came up for them to realize that it hadn't been healed completely, and someone probably showed up at the perfect time to reflect that to them. So the best advice for March is focus on you. Do you. Only focus on you. Don't care about what the other people are saying. Really, really, really don't. It doesn't matter. It really does not matter what people think of you, especially if you're at the beginning of your spiritual ascension. You're probably asking yourself a whole bunch of questions. If I come out of the spiritual closet, what will my family say? And you know what? You might be very surprised of what they will say. I know I was like that. I was like, how am I going to explain that to my parents? My parents are super down to earth. Like, how are they going to receive that? And to my biggest surprise, my mom was like, I'm not surprised. It runs in the family that people are clairvoyant. If I had known before, it would have avoided me a lot of stress. All of that to say that don't worry too much about this. Everything shows up in our life in divine timing, whether we see it or not. Sometimes things show up so quickly or they disappear so quickly that we think that it's not divine timing. But sometimes we're wrong. It is divine, the divine working and doing its thing. It's often also people that are resisting. They're like, I never saw this coming. That's because they were resisting their own inner guidance. So in March, like this new moon, this full moon we just had last Saturday was here and brought these new energies in. Well, at least brought the energies to make the proper space for these new beginnings. And amongst those energies, we had the release of resistance, the release of ego, the release of free will when it is about hurting people. Because apparently we are the only planet in the universe with free will. And unfortunately, some people are using that to hurt other people. And this full moon brought the release of that. Through all of those transformations going all at once, the Divine Masculine is also leveling up on their self-mastery, spiritual gifts. They're learning to work with new tools, with new guides as well, new guidance, like new ascended masters, new energies, because for a lot of them, they had reached a really good level, but they were stuck on this plateau, not moving forward, even wanting to stay there. They didn't want things to change because it was comfortable for them. It was keeping them from facing their current issues. And for a lot of them, it is related to their divine gifts, their divine truth, commitment, and perception. So therefore, letting go of, old programs. They were stuck in there for a very, very long time. And when we resist, the universe comes in and, does its thing. So sometimes it's to bring you something new, and sometimes it's to take away something. And I know it can sound harsh, but when a person refuses to see the truth, the universe takes care of it. And I was that kind of person, like many, many years ago. I was refusing to listen to my guidance. I had all the messages. I had this whisper inside of me nonstop, but I was not listening. So the worst thing would happen to me, like unbelievable things. And one day something extremely traumatic happened to me, and I said, okay, I surrender. I know. I could feel the pressure build up inside of me. And I was just, putting it aside, pretending it wasn't there. And one morning, I saw something I could never unsee. And at that moment, I said, okay, I surrender. You have all my participation, collaboration. Tell me what to do, and I'll follow, and I'll do. And this was prior to 2012. This is where my spiritual awakening started in a different matter. It had started years before, but at that point, it was like, okay, there's no coming back. There's no going back to what you were before. It's impossible. You know too much, and you need to just keep going forward. That's what a lot of divine masculine are dealing with at this time. Collectively, we're also progressing in filling the gap between New Earth, Old Earth. I've been saying that many times in my past videos. That gap is intensifying for a lot of people. If you resonate with being in the New Earth, and you come across someone who is in the Old Earth, you're probably having a very, very hard time speaking with that person because the clash in energy is in your face. You get annoyed instantly when you're in front of someone who's part of the Old Earth. At least I do. And in those moments, we need to be in compassion because they don't know and it's not their fault. We need to act as guides, as teachers, as leaders, and as inspiring people. That's why we're here. That's what our soul chose before coming here. And it's all about speaking our truth. And those energies of March will push us and really, really push us into being in straight alignment with our truth. Even if it doesn't make sense on the outside, let's say you're guided to make a decision and you're like, it doesn't make sense that I make this decision. Try to see where it's coming from, where that thought is coming from. Is it coming from your mind or your heart? It is most probably coming from your mind, from your ego, from fear. And by taking the step forward, by making the leap of faith, the jump, you acknowledge the universe, you acknowledge the magic that it wants to bring in your life. And trust me, whatever you had to let go, the hole won't stay empty for too long because the universe doesn't like empty spaces and will do everything in its power to fill it with the right things for you. So don't let fear be your guide in cases like that. Let your heart be your guide. If your heart is saying so, go act on it because the heart knows all the truth. I was listening to I want to say brain professional, but that makes no sense. A neuroscientific person. I can't remember his name. He was talking about heart coherence and the brain, and he was talking about those neurons that we have in the heart and how much more powerful they are than the one we have in the brain. So that's how we can say stuff like the heart knows the truth. The truth is in the heart. The heart knows it all. The hearts never make mistake because those neurons are extremely powerful. And I can't remember, I think it's more than 1,000 times or more than thousands of times more powerful than the ones we have in the brain. So for those that are stuck in their mind trying to resist that calling, my message to you is March won't give you that chance. March will only remind you of what you need to be doing, and so is the universe, because we are at a time in history where we are building this new earth, and where a lot of light workers and spiritual people have been working at it for such a long time. There is no going back to the way things were before. It's impossible, because these things don't exist anymore. These energies don't exist anymore. And there's only space for new energies, for growth, for expansion, for leveling up, for going up in our spiritual ascension. So all of this projection, reflection, deflection will be going away in March. Tower moments are gone. It's time to recalibrate. The triggers, the resistance are gone. It's time to recalibrate and work as a unit, as one big family. That's who we are. And that's who we are on the spiritual plane, but not on the physical plane, unfortunately, because there's too much chaos out there. But when it comes to that, the chaos, it's very painful to watch, especially if you're a light worker, an empath, and you're extremely sensitive and you don't quite understand why people are being so hard-headed. And perhaps for you, it's like, I don't get it. The right thing to do is this. And for you, it's like a given. It's like, why aren't they doing that? And I understand that feeling. Trust me, I do. The thing is that remember how you went about your spiritual ascension. It's peeling a layer of ego, one after the other. So peeling off layers of ego, one after another, until your heart has enough space to be the driver of your life, as it is supposed to be. Not everybody is operating on that level, but we're going there slowly by slowly. So my advice to you is try to surrender yourself with people like you. And I know, easier said than done. Spiritual people are not so easy to find. A lot of people are saying they are spiritual, but you look at the way they live their lives and you're like, no, you're not spiritual. Sure, you meditate. Sure, you take beautiful pictures of you doing yoga or meditating, but you're not spiritual, because spirituality is a way of life. It's about every decision in your life. It's about every action in your life. It's about giving your best in everything that you do, pouring love in everything that you do, no matter what it is. Something as simple as watering the plants, pour love into it. The plant will feel it. It's been scientifically proven that when you walk into a room, let's say you have plants at home, and you walk into that room where the plants are, those plants react to your energy because you're the feeder. You're the one caring for them and taking care of them. And they know that, they feel that through your energy field, and they react. It's been measured. It's been measured by scientific people. They open up, and they will grow faster. And, it's all the same as the rice experience, where in one container, one part of rice was told that it was love, and in a different container, the rice was told that it was not love and all kinds of negative words. Well, that rice became rotten very quickly, and the other one was fine. Even after multiple weeks, it was still fine. So imagine doing that with people around you, with people that you know, and even with people that you don't know. That's what March is trying to bring to us, that unifying energy, unity. We're all one. We're all connected spiritually. Therefore, we need to be connected physically. And I know a lot of people will think, well, don't you think that's utopic to think that? It is. It is, but it's also time to be faithful, have faith in what our plan is. And our plan is to build the new earth. And if you doubt that, you can go in meditation and connect with your 10th chakra, the third one above your head, and consult that chakra. See what's in there. Some people will call it the seat of the soul. It's actually where your soul has your plans, your destiny, your plan, your mission for this lifetime. And if more and more people start listening to that and acting accordingly, well, unity will start to show up a lot more than it is now. Because there is a lot of chaos out there. So basically, to go back to the new energies of March, new beginnings in relationships and a lot of relationship changing, a lot of people changing their energy field. The earth has changed its energy, so therefore we need to start operating on that. The resistance will be going away. We need to make proper changes to rebuild and build the new earth. And I say rebuild because it was once there or here on earth and it disappeared. It's like the same cycle going over that we go through over and over again. And March, I'm trying to understand what this energy is, but and find the right words. I want to say March is more than one change. It's multiple change all at once. Basically the polar opposite of what February was. So February, I don't have a problem saying that word. So February was a lot about purging, releasing, cutting away, tower moments, and March is the polar opposite. So it's about building, rebuilding, healing, moving forward, working in the right direction. So, short video. I know a lot of people have been exhausted. I have. It's been full few days, if I can say it this way. The amount of energies that we are moving through our body is ridiculous. And you may find that it's impossible for you to slack or like deviate from your self-care routine, because that will throw you off a lot more than it used to in the past. Like there's no space for not working out or eating not so well for a few days in a row, because you will like get sick faster than you ever did before. Energies in February were like rapid and fast, and March they're like slow and steady and loving and caring, which is really good news at this point. And to our dear divine masculine, I want to send all my support into the work that you need to do. There's a lot of anger to be released. Anger towards self and anger towards other. There's a truth behind that anger. And I hope that you find that truth sooner than later. So that's it for now. Thank you for being here. I know I haven't been here much. It was just a crazy month. Crazy month. You can follow me on social media at IndigoGirl555 on Instagram, Indigo Girl on Facebook. You can use my email to reach out at indigogirl555@gmail.com. And thank you for being here. Until the next time, be well.